Hi, this is Bud Rebel, and I'm interviewing Zach from Jack Tar Knives.
Yes, sir.
Wow, this is really cool. I mean, you're into knives, I would say.
Yes, sir. I've been into knives since I was 7 years old. My grandfather gave me this whole beat-up pocket knife, and I just never really looked back.
Now, wait a minute. There's nothing with Halloween like the guy that used to.
Oh no, not even a
No,
little
no.
bit. It was more of like a
Okay.
Swiss Army knife.
All right,
But,
sure.
ever
I
since-
don't want to support that effort.
No, of course No, that's more of a kitchen knife sort of thing.
Oh, okay. So now for me, how did you get into something like this? Where did this come from?
Well, like I mentioned before, like I have been into knives since I was 7 years old when I first got one, and just ever since then, except when I was in school, I've just always had one on me, just ready to rock.
Right.
And,
Except in school.
Yes.
Okay. At least you're not telling anybody.
And then, except for one time, that was an accident though. And then around this time last year, actually this time 2 years ago, I was just watching random videos on YouTube, and I found this one by a YouTuber named Zed Not Alpha, ZNA Productions, where he just kind of made an axe out of just random scraps of like garbage from his shop, like a broken handle, a used saw blade, and some railroad spikes that he cut in half. And I was like, well, if I can make a knife out of garbage, then I can do it.
So, are your knives garbage?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean,
Just
They could be. They are compared to other stuff, but
But you make them from scratch. You actually make them from. It's amazing. You make them from wood and just metal.
metal. Yeah, I use.
And where do you get the
high-carbon
metal from?
steel. There's actually in Hawthorne, New Jersey. They're the premier steel supplier for like the northeast of the United States. New Jersey Steel Baron. They're about a 45-minute drive away, so I usually pick it up from there.
And how do you decide what kind of knife you're gonna make today or whatever?
As far as like knives, I typically like style. I typically like Viking style. Like my preferred. I like angular.
Sorry, there's a
looks.
bug that wants to be in the
Oh, of
show.
course. Thank you.
Okay.
My preferred style is the Viking sax. So like typically knives will have like the upswept sort of look or like a drop, but this is like more of a triangular, like downward swept. It's called a Warncliffe style blade, but it's more.
Ooh.
It goes down that way instead of like up, and I find I've always liked the look of it, to be quite honest.
So where do you sell these knives?
I usually do like just in-person transactions between friends mostly.
Oh, from friends. Okay.
Yeah, but I do plan
Do
on.
you make
starting
sure
up
your
shop.
friends are in a good mood before you
Oh
sell
yeah, of
knives?
course. Yeah.
Make sure you're good mood. Now, the knife that you over here. What do you want? Can I just see that for a
Yeah, of
moment?
course.
Okay. I'm in a good mood. Don't worry. So, what would be? Is this for like cutting steak, or what's this purpose for? Can I use
It's
this?
more of a general utility type of blade. It's just good for everyday sort of tasks.
Everyday
I use
type of
it to,
sort
like,
of
open boxes, cut paper.
And this over here, what's this made of? This part?
That's actually it's made out of it's called micarta, but
Wow.
basically micarta is really made from any sort of fabric pressed together with resin, and you can get a lot of really cool effects with it. Like there's this company called Greg Hansen and Sons,
Mm-hmm.
and they make micarta out of Mexican blankets. So you have like rainbow stripes all the way down the handle of the knife. This in particular is actually made out of burlap.
Wow.
So you have old
How much a
potato-
knife like this goes for?
Well, I'm not really sure how much they're worth, to be honest.
No,
But
how much you sell for?
I would say that goes for about I would call that like 125, 150.
Wow. And this part, this is good. When you get this, you get the metal and you get this. What do you get? When you
So-
start from scratch, what are you making? With string.
I buy them all separately. I use different components. Like when I buy the steel, it's just a 4-foot long bar of high carbon steel that I'll cut the profile of a knife out of and grind it, and then put a bevel in right on this right here, and that makes the edge thin enough that I can apply an edge to it.
How long does it take to make a knife like this?
I would say that took about 10, 12 hours.
So, and how many knives have you sold?
I've only sold 2 so far.
Oh, two.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's-
What's
I'm
it? Just started. You're a new entrepreneur. Wow, this could be like something great.
Just starting out.
Okay, this is the first one. What's the other knife that you have? You have another knife you want?
I have a few actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Of different styles. I actually brought my first one.
The first one you ever made?
Not my first one that I ever made. My first one I ever made for myself.
This is a very nice knife, by the way, everybody. I would be happy killing people with this knife. I decided to get in that business. Or cutting a steak, whichever was good in that. That's the way
If the feds see that, I don't come telling them.
yeah, I'm
doing
not.
that sort
I'm
of
not gonna
violence.
Make sure.
So I brought a few examples.
Okay, so let's go. I don't want to cut myself, so
Oh, of
I'm gonna
course.
put this one back.
Yeah.
And this is like a certain sharpness to this one.
Yeah, this I sanded it to about 1500 grit on my belt sander
No.
at about a 15-degree edge. So
How much,
it'll
I don't know
it'll
if you
pop
want.
hairs.
How much these knives cost you to make? about?
Well, I'm not sure about I mostly charge for time
Right.
because materials are relatively cheap for what you get out of them.
Well, they almost become once you make them. I would almost say that's the part of your family.
Right. Yeah.
After your time you put in it, it's like you feel sorry to say goodbye to them.
No, definitely. Yeah. My the first one I sold, I almost didn't give it away. But yeah, I made a few. This is actually the first one that I made for myself. It's a similar style. The age pulling it full tight.
There you go. Pull it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
There you go.
that's pretty well. Okay, so this is the same type of design, but
Yeah,
it's a little,
I've always been
but
into
it's a
that
little
sort of look.
smaller.
Yes.
It's a nice handle. So if I asked you to make a Bud Rebel knife, you know the Bud Rebel principle is to be good quality, but a little bit different. What would you do for this knife if I just said to you, I want a Bud Rebel knife?
Oh, that's a
How'd
good
you make it a
question.
little different?
I'm not sure how I'd make it a little different. to
Well,
be
I think
honest.
we really should do maybe. We make it an ergonomic handle like for the fingers.
Yeah.
And maybe like some cool like color, like it could be like a gold or a silver color handle.
That might be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about how exactly I would do. Like
I
I
don't
would do
know how
brass scales, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I have this that uses brass
That's nice.
that I think might
Like a little
be
studded,
look-
you know? Yeah. And the art man could use this when he's cooking. Let's look at the next knife there.
Yeah, of course. So I kind of brought a progression of like my personal knives. That first one that I saw is the most recent one that I made for myself. But this is actually the first one that I ever made.
Are
myself.
you doing this full time as your job now, or this is?
No, this is just a hobby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then this one I made.
Are you gonna have these online? Because it's the next move, probably. No.
Eventually, I have pictures of them on my Instagram.
Are you allowed to sell them online?
Yes. Yeah. There's actually a pretty significant.
Is this legal in New York City? I could work in the Bronx. There you go. Zach, I really learned a lot, and I think our audience learned a lot from something that they use every day, but they don't appreciate. When they have someone like you that has an appreciation and respect for an item that you take for granted, I want to thank you for coming.